Everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am Sydney. I thought I'd do another story time because my last story time about the accident and why I'm in this brace, it's done really well. So I know I saw a comment as well saying that they quite like story time, so I thought I would do another story time. Now this story time is, it's very strange. I ended up in the hospital twice and I basically came up with something that I thought was called hives. Later to find out, I think it was strep A, and I can't clarify it was because none of the doctors knew what it was. And this happened the first time, I think, in 2019. I had tonsillitis and I had a virus, and they gave me some antibiotics. It didn't work, it got worse. Pretty much they gave me penicillin. I took the penicillin, and then an hour later my face swelled up. I got loads of hives, rashes everywhere. My face was really swollen, and so then they just basically was like, okay, don't take that anymore, take some of this to calm it down, blah blah blah. I then was in bed and I woke up and was like, I can barely open my eyes, and I got my phone, I looked into the camera and was like, now I'll try and insert some pictures of what I look like. Not the best. And every time I got up, so I had to open my curtains, open my windows because it was really hot. Every time I do that, I'd nearly black out. Sorry, the sun is peering through the trees. Every time I get up, I'd feel like I was going to faint, so I had to quickly lay back down. So every time I got up, I could quickly do something, then I'd have to run and get back into bed before I passed out. That obviously isn't a good sign, but I was like, well, I can't really do much. I'm eating and drinking fine. Like, I don't really know what else to do. And then the next day I woke up and I went to the toilet and I passed out. I was on the floor. I was conscious. I just couldn't get up. So I rang my dad. I was like, Dad, I'm passed out on the floor. I don't really know what to do. Dad was like, oh my God, okay. Like, I need to get home, but I can't because I'm at work and it's quite far away. So he called my granddad and my granddad came in. Thank God I managed to get up and unlock the door. He came straight in, called the ambulance. Apparently I was passed out, I don't really remember a lot. The ambulance people arrived. I sat down and they put a cannula in my hand, and they were giving me something, and they were basically like, right, you're going to the hospital. I was like, okay. So I had to stand up, walk to the ambulance, and as I'm walking down the stairs, it literally just felt like I was flying down them because I was so out of it. And then I got into the ambulance, laid down. Now, none of this I can really remember other than looking at pictures. So when I arrived this is all from pictures, I can't really remember any of this. When I arrived, I was in the A&E bit, but I got wheeled into like the emergency thing, like where resuscitation happens and stuff like that for people. And I was basically just like that on the bed. Face was swollen, I was really hot, I was really itchy, and yeah, they had to change me into a gown, and then I don't really know what happened from there. Next thing I know, I've woken up and I'm in the children's ward because I think I was 16, 17, no, must have been 16, 17. And I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I just looked down and I just cried. I had rashes that looked like blood, blisters, and just, you know, like a hickey, you know, when the blood comes up to the surface. It was literally like that all over my arms. And I was just like, what on earth is going on? Like, what is wrong with me? And basically, long story short, I had loads of tests done. They took loads of bloods every day. And basically they said I had glandular fever, obviously tonsillitis, and they didn't know what the rash was. They had no idea. They just basically said, you're allergic to penicillin. I was like, okay. And then a week later, still having more tests done. I was getting better, but it was very slow. I was in there for approximately a week and a half, and when I got back home, so they finally let me out, they had no idea what the rash was, not a clue. They did loads of tests and stuff, still couldn't figure out. It was on my records. Okay, fast forward 2 years later. I come up with rashes again. And I'm like, this cannot be happening. This time I didn't have glandular fever, I didn't have tonsillitis, I just had a virus and I knew I was poorly. I came up with rashes. This time it was worse. It was 10 times worse. I don't know if it's because I wasn't obviously on any medication or antibiotics at the time. It literally felt like I had burns all over me. They were red raw. I was scratching and I was like, I can't do this. I took so many tablets to make the itching go away and nothing happened. I bought creams. I just did everything that I could. The only thing that would help me out, and I mean the tiniest amount, was laying in the bath with cool water. That was it. I remember I was on the phone to my mum crying, why is this happening to me again? I'm so uncomfortable. Like, and this was 2 days and it got to the point where I couldn't bear it anymore. I was like, I need to go to A&E, this is ridiculous. And my other half took me down to A&E. We were sat in there for probably an hour until I got seen. And I insert some pictures of me in the hospital and the lady checking me out and stuff like that. God, is it like everywhere? I was like, it's literally everywhere. I don't know why. I had tests done. I had like a camera in my hand again and my arm. Couldn't figure out what it was. And then they were basically just like, you're gonna have antibiotics and you're just gonna have to take it day by day and hope that it gets better. Bear in mind, this is the worst it's ever been. I still went into work. I still did my normal thing whilst in pain. Like, I don't know how I did it. I really don't. It was worse than a period cramp. It was horrible. All I can describe it is it felt like red raw burns everywhere and they were itchy. And then a week later, when I came out of the hospital, the doctor that basically was like, you need this amount of medicine, blah blah blah, the lady in the hospital was like, you need 3 of those a day, not 1. You need 3 of them a day because it's so bad. My GP doctor, I can't remember his name now, probably shouldn't even say his name anyway, but he basically apologised to me and said, I'm so sorry that this has happened to you. Like, I feel awful. I've put this on your record, and if it happens again, you will be submitted straight to hospital and you will basically get the help that you need and answers. Now, at the time that I had it, strep A wasn't a thing. That came out a few months after. And another thing that I think I had when I was in the hospital the first time was COVID, because the new year, COVID happened in March and I came out of hospital in January. So I feel like I get everything before it even gets explained and comes out. So I think I had COVID first, and then I think I had strep A, but I can't be for definite because obviously they didn't know when I had it. But yeah, that is the story of when I got submitted to hospital twice in hives and stuff. And I've seen some celebrities talk about it, but I just don't think it's the same as what I had because my skin was crazy. It was strange. I will definitely insert some pictures so you can see. But like, honestly, if anybody out there has had this, please let me know how you dealt with it and like what the doctors said it was, because I still don't have any answers from it. I don't know what it was. All I can just think and to settle my mind is that it was strep A rash. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this story time. It's not the nicest story time, but it's happened, and I know it's happened to loads of other people. So if you're one of them, you're not alone. I've had it, and I hope I don't get it in the next 2 years, because that seems to be what's happening. I have a virus and then it turns into whatever this is. It is nasty. I don't wish anyone to go through what I went through. It was horrible. But yeah, that is the end of the story time. See you later. Bye.